throws it, takes the snap, wants to throw it, fires it down the field. It's for Elijah Surratt. He makes the catch. Touchdown! Elijah Surratt, 17-yard pick for a TD. And Indiana's back on top. They're at the 18-yard line where they'll snap it to. It'll be a 28-yard field goal. Here's the snap. Fielding kicks the ball. It is wide. It is wide. Wide to the left. He missed it. And Indiana will take over the football. And they have the lead at 13-10. Fernando takes it. Back to throw. Fires it down the field. And it is caught. Charlie Becker again. What a catch. Guarded out there all the way down the field by Matthews. He couldn't get the pass stopped. Charlie Becker with a 32-yard grab. And Indiana is on Ohio State territory at the 43-yard line. Here's the snap. Saying back to throw again. Pressure comes. Rolls to his right. Tries to run with it. Throws it down the field. It is tipped up in the air. And that's the ball game right there. Indiana wins. Indiana has beaten the Ohio State Buckeyes, the #1 team in the country. The Hoosiers have beaten the Buckeyes, and Indiana is going to the college football playoff, and they're going to get a bye. Unbelievable.
This will be the high point of my day. It's all downhill from here.
There's a flag on the play, and Daniel Jones is down. Daniel Jones can't even make it over to the sideline to be looked at. Riley Leonard is in the game. Tell us why and give us an update also on the latest with Daniel Jones.
An unfortunate update as Daniel Jones remains in the Colts locker room. He has been ruled out with an Achilles injury.
Final score at Everbank Stadium in Jacksonville. It's the Jacksonville Jaguars 36 and the Indianapolis Colts 19.
A lot of this stuff too, as you go through a season, you're going to go through some storms and some adversity, and you got to overcome those. That's part of being a professional athlete and the coach and stuff, and staying steady through that process and keep believing and fighting like crazy. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to fight like crazy and believe, and we know that we got a big one coming up on the road.
The Ride with JMV 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Let me tell you a little bit of something about this. That was the IU Radio Network. That was Shane Steichen. That was Matt Taylor and the Colts Radio Network as well. And it was a tale of a Saturday and a Sunday for real. I mean, the truly meaty good stuff happened in between because we got off to a rocky start with Purdue and Iowa State in West Lafayette. And I know Boilermaker fans don't want me to talk 1 ounce about that. And then I was down there for IU and Louisville. Shout out to Matt Goins and AAA for that. It was awesome. I was right down there and watching it. And Louisville looked so incredibly more athletic than IU. It was not even funny. So that didn't go well. And then on the tail end of it, yesterday, I don't even know where to begin and to explain to you. Now, granted, there are so many layers here, and there are portions of it that are just typical because we have been, how should I put this? And I'm going to try to be as professional as possible so you already know right now that something's on the inbound that maybe you should earmuff your kids about. But we've been screwed for so long. I mean, it's almost like it's just another layer of screwing. Seriously, the Colts at some point are going to win an AVN Lifetime Achievement Award because it's been such a huge screw job. It's incredible. And all it does is continue to stack. It's funny, we look at some things right now regarding this football team as normally would be major for anybody else, but it's kind of on the periphery for us because we deal with all this other crap. If it's going to be incredibly bad, logically it is going to happen right here. The Indianapolis injuries, and that's just not about the Colts. We have an epidemic of Achilles injuries. Frankly, we all should be walking around in a walking boot. I don't know why we're not right now. Somebody told me that that's an urban legend, that it really doesn't help. In fact, it can hurt. But can it be any worse? Have any of you out there ruptured your Achilles here recently? I can tell you this. and this is my prediction, I'm going to rupture mine here the next 6 months. So I'm going to be added to that list. It is incredible. And I'm going to go ahead and copyright like Jake did, Why Not Indiana? I'm going to go ahead and copyright the Lifetime AVN Achievement Award right there for being screwed. It's incredible. So you can go ahead and take the earmuffs off. I think I'm over with that part of the show here. As we start from Twin Peaks on the northeast side, we're in Castleton. I'll explain a little bit more in depth in a second. Daniel Jones, season-ending Achilles surgery. As they've talked about, Jake, and I know Eddie did a little bit earlier too. Stephen Holder's going to join us at the 5 o'clock hour. Riley Leonard took over yesterday. Riley Leonard has a knee injury. Concussion protocol. Concussion protocol is probably going to have about as many people as Bullseye Event Group had on Saturday where I was. Like the whole room for concussion protocol is going to be packed with Colts players. And I'm assuming, thanks, Travis, Mooney Ward, I think, like lives in concussion protocol right now. He goes in for not once, not twice, but a third time this season. It is incredible. Yet it's weird that you can still talk about this team in terms of the postseason. And you can also start going ahead and typing out a eulogy of sorts moving forward. With a lot of what we know about right now, this team started 7-1. And I could, frankly, get into a large-scale discussion about how everything ends. Remember when I said back in January 2025, I was shaking my fist, right? That's how you know that I'm shaking my fist. Something has to be done. He's really serious this time. He's shaking his fist. But I'm shaking my fist about starting over. Just going ahead and wiping the slate clean. Getting your Etch-a-Sketch and pulling up that page and getting rid of the residue that's there from the crank that you probably drew as a joke to your friend back when we were all 13 years of age, and move forward and start new. And I said that back in January. And then, honestly, you go through the first 2 months of the season, and I looked like a horse's ass. I did. And I look in the mirror, and I see a horse's ass. I go, man, this is not good. I was completely wrong about that. And what is so interesting, never leaving a stone unturned in the form of disastrous situations. I mean, the Colts have now made me right again. It's incredible stuff. And I don't want to be right again. I don't want to get people saying, well, you know what, you live for the negativity. No, I don't. I'm the most positive, fun-loving dude you will ever know. I just are mired in the muck of Colts negativity all the time. And that stinks. I want to go to see this team in the postseason. I want it to be 7-1 again. And I'll be honest with you, even before Daniel Jones went down yesterday, let's face it, ever since Pittsburgh pulled back the curtain on this football team about a month ago, and they pulled back the curtain and exposed some things. Ever since that point in time, this team hasn't been the same. And then obviously your quarterback is compromised. I mean, that's not even the leg with the fibula that's cracked. That's not his cracked stick. That's a different stick altogether. That is really why not Indy. That's what Jake should mean about that. He should put like a big, I don't know, what is a little like Switzerland thing up here, like a cross. Why not Indy? Why not an Achilles tear or a rupture? It is amazing stuff. I'll get back to that in a second. Alas, I do want to talk about what I witnessed on Saturday. And I mentioned that the meat of this particular weekend sandwich was the part that you truly enjoyed. IU football, this is what stands out to me about this team in year number 2 of Curt Cignetti and being the 1 seed in the college football playoff picture. I mean, all of this stuff, again, maybe earmuff it here, guys. All of this stuff is one of those types of nocturnal blanks, dudes. You know what I mean? That's what that is. Nobody ever thought this was going to occur, yet it has. And it's not just by accident They just didn't fall into it. I mean, you didn't trip and fall into this high level of greatness. Oh, you know what? You just kind of got lucky. There is a skill here. And here's how you know that there's a skill. You go back to last year when everybody, including Mr. Peanut and all these other national honks, were talking about how this is all just make-believe, nothing is real. You lose at Ohio State going back to November a year ago. And what you did is you realized how you lost, what had to get better, and you went out and you fixed that. And the thing that stood out to me on Saturday night, just besides IU fans finally getting for their constant backing of this team, you know, from the time when it was just about going for the tailgate and then leaving, but the constant backing of that team and that program. You saw so many in Lucas Oil Stadium. I mean, you saw some jackass Ohio State fans too, but you also saw so many that I thought were due. It's like Colts fans. I mean, you're due some really good things to happen. Pacer fans are going to say, well, you know, are we due too? Well, you guys had some really good things happen, and then the worst thing of all happened. See, we can't even have good things happen because you know when really good things happen, you're absolutely going to take it at the end. And that's how Pacer fans saw that going back to June. But it was cool to see IU fans get to celebrate. When Aiden Fisher grabbed that mic and, you know, they did the school song, I'm not an IU grad. I'm from around there. Thus, everybody either attended IU or even if they didn't, grew up an IU fan. I grew up an IU fan as well, but attended Indiana State because they had ashtrays on the desk and I could smoke in class. But I went to Indiana State for that reason. And I always grew up, you know, paying attention to IU athletics and following IU athletics. And I know of the Anthony Thompson era and how spectacular that was. And that's not even in the general vicinity where IU fans are now. They were the laughing stock. I mean, truly, they're right now the nerdy, dorky kid that grew up to be Brad Pitt. Or, you know, here's a reference for you, pop culturally speaking, and 80s fans out there. They're Patrick Dempsey. They're Ronald McDonald Miller compared to being McDreamy now. Or even further than that, I think that's long gone. But they're Ronald McDonald. That's who they were. They were the laughing stock, the butt of jokes, and everybody took it. And you went for the party, and you went to hang out, and you went to watch the other team. I mean, I remember going all the way back to the 80s, and a friend of mine, Andy Harper, and I go to a game, and we're in the end zone. And that's back when they had the chain link fence, remember, that surrounded things? And we're in the end zone, and we're watching Ohio State and IU, and Jim Crusados is the quarterback. Eric Kumaro was the linebacker, and Chris Carter was the star wide receiver. Well, we're obviously going to watch some what we thought at the time were future stars of the NFL, and Chris Carter caught a touchdown pass and, you know, did the Pee Wee Herman kind of celebration in the end zone and spiked the football. It came right to us. Seriously. I mean, that was what the note was, other than a bowl here or there and Anthony Thompson and those teams that everybody still embraces, but never anything like this. And as I mentioned a little bit earlier, they didn't stumble upon this all of a sudden. I mean, you're not Uncle Jed, you know, out in the woods and you shoot to the ground, wherever you're shooting at, into the ground, and all of a sudden, you know, up from the ground comes the bubble and crude. I mean, there's thought behind this. I mean, the team that Kurt Cignetti left is a part of the college football playoff. Like it, loathe it, hate it, Notre Dame fans are upset about it. They're a part of this. What he left behind is now a part of this. No, this is something that has been created as quickly and is coached up as quickly to the highest level as we have ever seen. And I know that Urban Meyers had to backpedal a little bit about Ohio State was going to roll and blah, blah, blah. But the one thing he did get right, and others got right this weekend, is this is the greatest coaching job that we have ever seen, regardless of what takes place in the Rose Bowl. The greatest coaching job we have ever seen. That is like, seriously, This is like taking me from Southport on Sunday and turning me into an NBA MVP. That is where this is right now. And I know that we have a lot of people that are IU fans and you're sick and tired of talking about it, but it is mind-blowing where this team is right now. And regardless of the change in landscape and NIL and the transfer portal, you still have to be smart. You still have to be savvy. You know, it's funny, the dudes that were interviewed, whether it's Aiden Fisher or it's Mendoza, or when we've had Omar Cooper on the show before, we've had Aiden Fisher on the show, these guys all keep that same focus. And every time I talk to them, every time I talk to an IU football player, I'm always reminded of that quote of Brad Stevens when he was at Butler, when he said, hey, JMV, everybody, even those that work inside Hinkle Fieldhouse, everybody to have the success that we're having at the time, Butler going to back-to-back national championship games, everybody has to be pushing in the same direction. And I'm reminded of that. And the fact that you're able to do that in such a quickly paced time, 2 years, is mind-blowing. I mean, honestly, you could give Kurt Cignetti Coach of the Year for the next 10 years, and it would be accurate. It's incredible. So that certainly can be celebrated. And there are two different portions of this. There's the celebration of what you have in the now and being excited about your team, but it's also the celebration of those, like Jake talked to Bill Benner a little bit earlier, has been around forever as an IU fan. You go there when it's 105 degrees and 5 people are there, or when it's freezing and raining and 5 people are there. And when you're going through coaches, and when you're playing McNeese State and about to lose, or William and Mary and you're about to lose, or what was it, the Akron game? Remember that with Tom Allen afterwards, and you're singing the fight song, and nobody in that locker room wanted to be a part of it. I mean, that's where they were, and that wasn't so long ago, like 3 years ago. It's incredible, really is. So we're going to celebrate that today. Matt Surface, the former Hoosier, was going to come on. I think he got held up in a meeting, so he's going to join us coming up tomorrow. So I'm going to indulge upon you, the IU fan, to join us and talk about what you have known and what you know right now, and honestly how special Saturday was. For me, it was special because I got to go to Bullseye for the first time and really cut loose and hang out. It was a great time. It was great to see everybody down there. That was only the precursor to the night. But every time we see this IU team put in a situation to where you have to prove yourself, and that's why I say this is never a bad thing. And this is why I always ask athletes about that proverbial chip on their shoulder, because it is so useful. Like, the Colts right now should have, like, the building, I don't know what the hell it is, that new hotel they're building downtown that just completely has screwed up traffic forever. That is the size of a chip on the shoulder that all Colts players should have. Yet yesterday, honestly, and especially after their quarterback went down, they all looked like they were ready to leave. They all looked like they were ready to go. I mean, that thing was going to be a mess yesterday, even if the quarterback was still in there. And we'll get into what could be the future, but we still have to keep our feet on the ground in the present. But we can make all these excuses, and we are, about their situation and get out that little tiny violin and, oh, woe was us. But this team got exposed in Pittsburgh, and this team had opportunities yesterday from the players to the head coach to pick it up and run with it. And really to be focused about something, the us against the world mentality, and they faded. They faded on both sides of the football. I'm sorry. Defensively, they absolutely took the easy-ass way out. There is zero excuse for no hits, no sacks, and the lack of pressure with guys that need to be former first-rounders. I don't care if DeForest Buckner's not out there. Zero excuse for that. These guys bailed. And I know you're going to say, well, you're just making, taking a shot. This is not. They bailed. Listen, the weather was bad for both sides, And rarely have we seen Trevor Lawrence pick apart defenses as he did yesterday. I mean, he was just roaming free in the countryside. So as much as you have to deal with injuries and oh, woe is us, that was bullcrap yesterday. And that's why you look at this and through all the disappointment, that's why you want to see everybody go. I mean, a little bit more than that. And that means the head coach, too. And I've been all over the offensive line. Even if the head coach dials up just a ridiculous fourth down play and runs it out of the shotgun when everybody in the stadium is rain-soaked and know what is coming, at the very least, you're supposed to be a good offensive line, or at least that's what everybody was told. I mean, even if the coach puts you in a bad situation, I just can't get past the fact that even without the Jones injury, this team looked terrible. I mean, this team looks like it is absolutely lost right now. And we can bury all that with excuses and injuries, and it's justified. But I think those of us that have been around here a long time, you're not going to be fooling me, and I know I'm not fooling you a lot, they're not fooling you either. That was not a supercharged effort, or at the very least a place where you haven't won since 2014, that everybody calls it a curse. Normally, the curse is the Colts and how they play. That's the curse. They curse themselves. And we saw that again yesterday. You know, even with the Daniel Jones injury. And it honestly, if I do feel for a dude, it's him. Because much like Tyrese Halliburton, he goes out there and he plays with a cracked stick. And I'm sure we'd all be crying in the corner in the fetal position, whining about wanting to quit. And he's out there playing, and I mean, hell, there goes your Achilles. I don't know. The curse here with the Achilles and just screwing us is much greater than the curse in Jacksonville. The curse in Jacksonville is the Colts sucking, no matter who's coaching, no matter who's playing. That's their curse. That's their fault. And the Achilles stuff is ridiculous. Again, I don't know how you get out of that. I like my Matthew Broderick DEFCON 1 War Games idea. But, hell, they don't have enough money to pay for players right now or won't have first-round picks. And, by the way, too, I'm not going to make light. I will own the fact that when they were 7-1, when they were looking, I wanted them to go for it. Now, granted, I wanted them to go for it because I wanted to see you guys reap some benefits of finally having a really good team to follow. Finally being able to talk up a team. And, yeah, I believed in it. But I will tell you this. You know, even prior to Daniel Jones and the injury and all that we have seen since Pittsburgh and the 6 turnovers and the consistently getting after Jones and not utilizing Jonathan Taylor, not getting what's necessary from the defense. I know you're on the field a lot. Oh, great. But this has been circling the drain even with the injury circumstances around the quarterback. I know you guys are going to ask me exactly what's going to happen coming up next year, and we'll get into that. We have plenty of time to get into that. Now, we'll tell you this. I guess if there is one plus side, never has a team in the history of time been so screwed, but still has a legit opportunity outside of just looking at who may start at quarterback and players being in concussion protocol and playing good teams. Never has a team been this screwed, but in position to really unscrew itself. It's amazing. It really is. But I don't know how much confidence anybody out there has in this team and the capability of it doing just that. We got plenty of time to discuss today. In fact, because there's no Matt Surface, we'll go ahead and do Stephen Holder in the 5 o'clock hour. I think because of Colts Roundtable and then followed by the Kings and the Pacers later on tonight, we have a 5:30 bailing. But I would love to see you. I see my man D is in the house right here. We've got a busy week for you. I will explain coming up too. Twin Peaks, we are in Castleton. I would love to see you. And I do want to turn loose the phones on the other side. So if you're feeling froggy, jump. 239-1070. That's fine. I know that we have the text line that is wide open at 317-239-1070. There is zero reason. We're going to give you options right here to join this show. A variety of ways to do it. The stream, the app, HD radio. You know, obviously you can watch the AAA Membership Lounge via YouTube Live. You can jump in here, say whatever you want to say. But we'd love to hear from you because there is a lot going on. And believe me, there is a high level of awesome. And then there is the complete and lonely low level of being where the Colts have been. And breaking new ground on being screwed, which is amazing. AAA Membership Lounge via YouTube Live. Again, 317-239-1070. That is the text line. IU is the 1 seed. Notre Dame fans are upset, and we've got a lot to get to. Colts conversation also coming up with Stephen Holder. Twin Peaks, Northeast Side, and Castleton. Do not go anywhere. It's 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Season ending. He'll have surgery within the week. Obviously, just really feel for him. Just an unfortunate situation. The work that he puts in, the effort on a day-to-day basis, the grind, a team captain for us, just very unfortunate. One of the toughest guys I've ever been around. So just praying for a speedy recovery for him.
Shane Steichen earlier today, obviously talking 20,000 leagues under the sea. Daniel Jones, he's right about Daniel Jones. Give Daniel Jones a great deal of credit because he went out there and he tried. He was compromised already. I thought that a lot of his teammates gave him, especially after he left, a lot of crap. I'm not really that upset about the way Riley Leonard played. I'm upset that he has a knee injury, and you may see Brett Rippon, and you're certainly going to see another quarterback in the fold coming up this week. And Anthony Richardson isn't ready. I've got plenty of time to get into what next year might be like. I know you guys are going back to what I said in January, saying I'm right. It's funny. I look like a complete ass for the first 2 months of the season. Hey, you wanted to get rid of everybody. You wanted to reset everything in January. Remember that, JMV? Look how good they are right now. And this is how things turn on a dime. But I think most notably, this is how things go from good to absolute crap water around here in a millisecond. We are unlike anybody else. That is why I tell you all the time to celebrate the moment, live in the now, because just know that the specter that is the evil Dr. Scrooge is going to come out of nowhere and do what he does. You know that to be true. It is amazing. So Daniel Jones done for the season. Saw that yesterday. The Colts are still in the playoff picture on the road in Seattle coming up this weekend. Get a Monday nighter against San Fran. Houston, Jacksonville, close. Yesterday, hey, their defense made Trevor Lawrence look like Johnny Unitas. Well done. I'm sorry. And you guys are right. I love Mooney Ward, but right now, I guess I can kind of understand the reason why Chris Ballard didn't want to really do too much in free agency. Lord have mercy. My man's back in concussion protocol. And this is not even so much from a Colts angle, but from a Mooney Ward, who I like a great deal angle. Third time this season? Yeah, I don't know about that. It is a major league hosing. Yet we're still talking about a team that has a chance, which is weird. Hey, JMV, I'm a Boiler grad. I'm not sick of the IU football talk. What's amazing to me is that the story is incredible. Keep it up. Celebrate the state. Hopefully we can be celebrating Purdue this way in April. I didn't want to get to this, and I completely agree with my good friend Todd. Quick note about Boilermaker basketball and getting run out of their own gymnasium on Saturday afternoon. He's right about this. Couple of things. One, Kaufman-Wren, stop. Yeah, I mean, I know you take a cue from NBA guys. Stop whining about the officials, whining to the officials, looking at the officials and play, because it looks like he gets swamped by worrying about the lack of calls that he's getting. Nobody likes to see that. Fletcher Lawyer continues to be the gauge. When he disappears, as he did with 5 points on Saturday, things aren't good for the Boilermakers. And, Braden, to be the superstar Braden, has to be night in and night out the superstar Braden. So there are a lot of things, honestly, for Purdue to take away from that ass beating that they took on Saturday at home in Mackey Arena. All right, other than that, IU, shout out, what a tremendous Saturday for Hoosier fans. The 1 seed, they'll await the winner of Alabama, who shouldn't be there, but they are because they're in the SEC. And Oklahoma. I actually hope IU gets Alabama because I don't think they're very good. IU in the Rose Bowl, that's incredible stuff right there. All right, 239-1070 between the good and the bad with the Colts. Ramon's going to start on line number 1. Hello, Ramon. How are you?
JMV, boy, you're a true professional. You set this up so well. I'll run through it quick because I know it's a busy day. Notre Dame I'm going to be honest, and don't beat me up. If they played in the Big Ten or SEC, they would have 4 losses for sure. It wouldn't be a question. They'd have 4 losses. It's a gauntlet. Big Ten and SEC, I'm sorry, everybody, it's a gauntlet for a reason. I'm not saying Alabama probably should have been there, but when you look at that gauntlet, it's just a gauntlet. Same thing. IU went through a gauntlet. If Notre Dame played who IU played, you think they beat Oregon on the road? I don't know. You think Notre Dame would beat Ohio State? Probably not. I mean, Notre Dame want to cry.
I'm telling you, man.
They're not good as IU. They're not good as IU.
They are proving it. I'm right there with you on that, too. Hey, Ramon, I want to keep you here with me for a minute, too. Here's the thing that stands out to me. The thing I never thought IU would be, much less in this position. But how about matching and then overcoming and out-toughing Ohio State? How about out-physically? Because they sacked what's-his-nuts, 5 times? He'd been sacked, 6 times the entire year? I mean, Julian Sand was sacked 5 times. That not just matched, but it outmatched physicality of Ohio State. I don't even know when. You do have to go back to the late 80s with Anthony Thompson to see that, and I don't know when the hell we ever saw that defensively. It's incredible.
That was incredible. Their defense was I love defense anyway. Collinsworth talked about defense with Houston yesterday on the Kansas City defense is back, people. The IU defense was fantastic. Those fast receivers couldn't get nothing. Got one little cheap, I think, a couple passes, I think, down the stretch when they were playing a little bit of a prevent.
Yeah, and Jeremiah Smith is good, man. Jeremiah Smith is good.
How do we look now giving away those 2 first-round picks, which we shouldn't have for a cornerback? Yeah. And you knew
that was my advice to do it.
1 year.
Yeah. That's my advice to do it. Yeah. Hey, Ramon, I listen, I'm not going to apologize, and I'm wrong. I was 100% wrong because they are more than hosed because of that now. But given the circumstances then and the fact that I've been on this radio show for how many years whining and crying about, hey, you're not proactive, you don't do anything, I would tell them I would tell them under the same circumstances to do it again. I would, even though what I know right now.
And I'll let you go. Reeves in the Pacers. Now, I had a coworker ask me, he just couldn't believe the Pacers dropped off that much from Halliburton being gone. And I look at the Lakers. LeBron missed a lot. I've seen Luka out 5 or 6 games. And Austin Reeves is balling. Who's the Austin Reeves of the Pacers? Thanks, buddy.
Thank you very much, Ramon. That's because Tyrese Halliburton is the MVP of the NBA. I mean, you lose one dude, and this team can't walk and chew gum at the same time a lot of time. That's problematic right there, but that is because you have a dude. And that is for everybody that ever thought in their mind or ever presented their dumbass opinion that he wasn't a dude. Because he is. He's one of the best players of the NBA, and even without playing, he is showing that. Even if Purdue fans booed his ass on Sunday, or Saturday, I should say, by the way. But he was wearing Iowa State gear, and it was a bad day for Purdue. Give him a pass. 239-10. They need a pass because Saturday was awful. 239-1070. Tom is next on line 2. Tom, give us what you got, sir.
Hey, JMV, a long time, first time. Thanks for all that you do. It's awesome.
Outstanding,
awesome
brother.
show.
I appreciate you. Tom, thank you. Go ahead.
Just try to keep it positive here, talking IU football. My first game was in 1988 at 6 years old, lifelong IU football fan. And I was in tears in my Sacramento hotel Saturday evening watching the game.
Wow.
Ran a marathon yesterday morning, had my IU shirt on. And JMV, you would have thought I played in the game the way people were yelling at me the entire 26.2 miles. It was awesome.
Yeah. That's awesome, brother. I'm happy. I am so happy because I know, Tom, so many exactly like you because that's where I grew up. And I knew what the Anthony Thompson era meant. And this, is double time what that was right there with no disrespect to it because I love AT. But this is a spot that's it's the reason. When Bill Parcells said, this is the reason why you lift all those weights. Well, I guess this is the reason why you fans, had to sit through William and Mary and McNeese State games and Akron games, and now you're a part of this. It is incredible and something we never thought we should see. And I think it just stands to reason again that if you do things right, make things happen, make good decisions, you're savvy, you're tough, you move forward, this can happen to you, especially in this college athletic landscape, Tom, right now, too. I mean, you can work it if you can do what Kurt Cignetti has done. If you're smart like him, it's incredible what they've accomplished.
Well said. Yeah, and thanks for always having Don Fisher on. I always enjoy you guys joking around and keeping it real, and you're just the best. So thanks for having me on. Go Hoosiers.
Tom,
and
thank you.
I'm sad about our Colts, but thank you for all that you do, JMV. You're the best.
You got it, brother. Tom, thank you very much. I love going to our table on Fridays and drinking beers in front of Don and Susie Fisher. And I think in turn they love watching me drinking beers in front of him. He's always trying to get me to eat. Here's some lasagna. Here's an appetizer. I go, hey, man, no, I'm just going to drink this beer. Just drinking the beer, buddy. It is incredible, everybody. That is. JMV, the elephant in the room is, do the Colts dare let Jones walk and turn to Anthony Richardson versus Riley Leonard in 2026? That's from Todd. Todd, you know what? I'm going to have the answer to that profound question coming up on the other side. I am with a lot of my friends right here. We are at Twin Peaks, Castleton. We would love to see you out here to start a Monday with a high level, the highest level of good. And from the Colts, unfortunately, something we've become accustomed to noting, some really, really bad circumstances. Daniel Jones, Achilles injury, as you knew, he is done for the season. Riley Leonard, knee injury. We'll see about Sunday. You could be watching Brett Rippon under center for the Colts in Seattle. And the Colts, incredibly, still have an opportunity at the postseason, given their 7-1 start. We'll go over that, but also, Todd, with the answer to your question, where I sit right now, we'll see if that has any bearing on any thoughts out there. 239-1070, if you're on hold, I'm going to get to you. We have a lot to talk about today. So my advice, don't go anywhere. Stephen Holzer is in the 5 o'clock hour. Other than that, it's you and I all the way. Twin Peaks, Northeast Side, 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
JMV.
If peeing your pants is cool, consider me Miles Davis.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
And Mendoza takes the snap, wants to throw it, fires it down the field. It's for Elijah Surratt. He makes the catch. Touchdown! Elijah Surratt, 17-yard pick for a TD. And Indiana's back on top.
Well, I told you early in the game, one of the strengths in this game was going to be the wide receivers for Indiana versus the corners of Ohio State. It just showed up, Don.
That is my guy, Buck Sewer, right there. Buck! We got to get Buck back on again sometime soon. I think we've loosened Buck up enough to come back on the show. Don Fisher, voice of the Hoosiers. I'll drink an extra couple of beers for Don and Susie coming up on Friday. With that call, and IU, the 1 seed in the playoffs, going to the Rose Bowl. They await the winner of Alabama and Oklahoma. More on that coming up in a minute. I did want to give a shout-out. I don't know if you better have been listening during the break when I was talking to Bullseye, the pregame party on Saturday, but I met the incredibly awesome wife of our friend Chad Buchanan, Pacers general manager, Michelle. I checked that, Melanie, and her friend Michelle. Michelle has something called Spice Kick Seasonings, and she learned that I am a high-protein recipe-packed eater. So a shout-out to Michelle for Spice Kick Seasonings. I'm all about that. But no, Melanie, they were awesome. It was great to hang out. I know I saw a lot of you down there as well. It was an incredible time. Great time. Shout out to Kyle Kinnett and everybody that put on that show. It was great. Plenty of time for you. 239-1070 right now. James on line 3 is up next. James, talk to me, son.
JMV, how we doing, man? I love the show. Long-time listener, frequent caller, all-time 1070 The Fan winner.
Thank you. We need 1070 AM back, too. You want me to get 1070 AM back sometime soon?
I would still listen to it, I swear.
I'm telling. Well, I know a lot of people, they try. People have in the past tried to talk about how you wouldn't, and then I've had to explain how much smarter I am than everybody else has said that you would. So thank you very much, James, for making me right about that again. Appreciate you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I've listened to all the programs every day for years and years. But definitely real quick, man, round peg, square hole, jam that thing all you can. I can't wait to see how the Colts get out of this quarterback mess. It's not going to be pretty. Also, huge win for IU. I think the Heisman Trophy was guaranteed to Heisman Mania.
Fernando Mendoza, the winner, right?
He's got to, especially on that third and long to Becker.
That was it.
I mean, that was it.
Yeah, that was it.
Go for the gusto.
Yep. I'm right there with you on that. James, anything else?
Love the fan. And thanks, by the way, to Matt with AAA. I gave that membership after I upgraded it to my girlfriend. Long-time listener. Love you, JMV.
Man, James, thank you very much. Shout out to Matt Goins, AAA. We love to hear that. See, that's why radio is king. And don't be jacking around with other stuff. It's why radio is it. And that's that. Thank you, James. When Schuler's spreadability, elite level Monday night snacking for you, original sharp cheddar bacon and cheddar jalapeno pepper. The spreadability of Win Schuler's. Get it at your favorite Meijer location in the state of Indiana. And do that today. And by the way, to Neiman's Harvest Market, where our good friend, I think Jimmy works, Neiman's Harvest Market in Carmel. That's also well done. Hey, I think, I'm going to sit here right now and tell you, I believe that next year, the Colts are going to have the same 3 quarterbacks as they have, not Brett Rippon division, but I think they're going to have the same 3 quarterbacks, Daniel Jones, Anthony Richardson, and Riley Leonard. Now, I'll give the nod to Riley Leonard, but I think that's how this is going to look sitting here right now. If you're going to ask me, put me on the spot, that's what I'm going to say, the same 3. And before you go, oh, my God, I can't do that, look at the free agency list. They don't have any options, but look at the free agency list. And then double back and get with me later. 4 o'clock hour, more of your calls. Stephen Holder, 5 o'clock hour, Daniel Jones, Achilles surgery on the inbound, done for the season. IU talk and a lot more for you. Twin Peaks, Castleton, don't go anywhere. It's 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
Ding dong. 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
There's a flag on the play, and Daniel Jones is down. Daniel Jones can't even make it over to the sideline to be looked at. He takes a seat around the 29-yard line.
Chop block, offense number 28. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Third down.
And they call that on Jonathan Taylor and Lair Overton. What is the latest here with Daniel Jones?
He is seated on the turf, and he just slammed his helmet to the grass in frustration after taking a hit. Watching it on the replay, he slid on this wet grass. He is now limping over to the Colts sideline. He was also reaching down for that right lower leg area where he has some of that additional padding on that lower leg.
All right, that is both Matt and Lara from the Colts Radio Network and Daniel Jones with the Achilles injury, done for the season, and surgery coming up for the Colts quarterback, and questions regarding this Colts roster at that position and others coming up in the offseason. Colts lose yesterday on the road in Jacksonville again. They haven't won there since 2014. And not only just that particular disaster, but just met with a team that didn't look ready and didn't look ready after the injury, didn't look ready to do anything. Now, we'll tell you this, the offensive pass interference against Michael Pittman Jr. in the end zone was a joke. But other than that, really the Colts kind of got, playing wise, what they deserved in Jacksonville. And that's normally the case. You allow Jacksonville to do what Jacksonville does down there. So there's no curse to it. Just what you guys do. You go down there and you lose. There was no curse back in the day. Remember the good old days where other teams used to come to Indy within the AFC South and get their ass kicked? No curse there. That's what this team is made of right now. And I can argue, I hate that Daniel Jones went down for the season because that dude tried to gut it out. That's admirable. But what we witnessed yesterday and this team taking a beating all around the field, sorry, that's unacceptable. Even with the excuse of injuries, which are of an abundance right now. Mooney Ward back in concussion protocol, third time this year. Braden Smith, the right tackle, in concussion protocol. But the defensive line, shout out to Latu and Kwity Paye and that group for putting zero pressure on Trevor Lawrence. Well done. That and more of Stephen Holder coming up after 5. Twin Peaks, Northeast Side, thank you all for joining us. A great Monday start. Hey, by the way, too, Thursday, Mousetrap on Keystone. Can't wait to get back there with Brent Halverson. You know, if there is a disaster, you know, like the Colts are right now, my picks are a disaster. I, like the Colts, have taken after the first 2 weeks of the year, and I was kind of untouchable like that and felt really good. I've been an absolute mess in the past month. Just like the Colts. Me, Brent, you, Mousetrap Thursday, the Depot, or as I might call it from Southern Indiana, the Depot. The Depot in Greenfield, Bud Light Blue Friday coming up on Friday. Cannot wait to see you. And then I think Twin Peaks in Greenwood, I'll be celebrating my birthday. I think next Tuesday, I believe, at Twin Peaks in Greenwood. That's going to be fun. Anyway, that's a mile or two off right now. We got your reaction to make. IU, the 1 seed in the playoff. Notre Dame fans, the no seed in the playoff. Not participating any longer. The ball went home. That's what Notre Dame fans feel. Honestly, Notre Dame should be a part of it. They're clearly one of the best teams remaining right now. But that's what you get into. What did I tell you? When you have a committee, there's only one good one. And the committee will always jack it up. Know that to be true. So now Notre Dame fans understand exactly what I'm talking about. There's never, ever, ever been a good committee. Committees have axe to grind. And then they have people on there that fall asleep in committee meetings. Committees suck. There's only one good one. And Derek White knows what that is, the itty-bitty committee. Not a bad one. All other committees suck. Not unlike this one. Actually, I think Notre Dame one of, a handful of teams that also bowed out of the bowl situation coming up here, too. Now, that's what's up next. You're going to have to figure out exactly where that is. Hey, I'd mentioned where I think the Colts are going to go. Let's just say this season continues to go in the toilet as it is right now with Brett Rippon, because Riley Leonard, knee injury. Brett Rippon may get some time coming up in Seattle this weekend. We'll find out. Colts will have to add a quarterback later on this week. We know that to be true. I think next year is going to be much of the same at the quarterback position as what we see right now. You guys are asking me, so what happens? And by the way, too, JMV are absolutely right. Last January when you said blow it up, I had to live through like 2 months of looking like a jackass. But, I mean, it would have been better off had you just started anew back then now. But I went through 2 months where I thought, yeah, you know what? I'm all on board. Let's do this. Yeah, not so much. And the Achilles situation around here is still absolutely re-damn-diculous. Shout out to IU and the IU football fans. Rose Bowl bound, and you await the winner of Alabama, who shouldn't be in, and Oklahoma. So we're going to watch the sacrifices, in this case of both James Madison and Tulane. We get to see that. Why do I need to see that? Yeah, shout out. I'm glad. I mean, you try. Is this like the committee trying to come up with, the basketball, the tournament aspect of it, the David v. Goliath? Is that going to work out at all? I mean, you get situations in basketball where one dude can make a difference. One dude's not really going to make that big of a difference in a football game, right? One dude's not going to take it over. So just a thought. I don't honestly normally agree with Notre Dame fans, but come on now. They're definitely one of the best teams. They still should be playing. They're not. And they've taken their football and gone home for the season right there. Meantime, you guys have a lot to talk about, and I have spread the wealth for you, too. A lot of really good IU conversation going on. I don't care if they join a conference. I really don't care if they're in a conference. I don't care. I know they want to be, do what you do. I just am here to tell you that there is zero doubt that they're not one of the best teams out there right now. Well, a lot of you are saying, well, tell them to join a conference. I don't care, but they're one of the best teams out there. That's what I've been asking. That's what I'll tell you. I'm not a fan. I'm not like Uber fan, like Kevin Bowen is, for example. But, I will tell you, if you ask me if they're one of the best teams in college football right now, I think they're absolutely one of the best teams in college football. Otherwise, I don't really give a crap. 239-1070 is that number. We're going to see what you give a crap about right now, too. Mike in Brooklyn. I know where this thing is going. Hello, Mike. How are you?
Hey, John. What's up? Yeah, I'm with you on pretty much everything. It's just amazing how a team with horseshoe as its logo has so much bad luck in its history. I mean, yesterday was the culmination. I'm with you with Daniel Jones. I hope everything goes well with him. Gutted it out, definitely. And all that, I actually think Ballard has done a good job this year. He's given them everything they wanted. All that other stuff, that's off season. Right now they got to just play. You got to play the hand you dealt, really, because
and here's the problem. Hey, Mike, and here's the problem. Yesterday they didn't do that. Yeah, yesterday they faded. I thought yesterday, honestly, even taking the beating they took in all facets was crap. Considering their dude that was gutting it out was out there playing and then went down with an Achilles injury, I thought all the way around, the effort that they gave and the results they gave, that was a bunch of crap is what it was.
Doesn't that go hand in hand with DNA or culture? Even your points, when things are going good in games and everything is going smooth. So I mean, I'm expecting Ballard, signed Ellinger off the Broncos practice squad, and I will say this, and I understand, the options are what they are. I always like Ellinger. I thought they should have brought him back anyway, and I love this kid Riley Leonard. If big if Shane Steichen can finally totally simplify the offense and everybody can stand up and man up, play some defense, run the ball, put the onus on them, that's the only chance we have. You have to play a game just like the Houston-Kansas City game last night. That's how you have to win. You have to run the ball. If Shane Steichen comes out and starts slinging it all over the place with Riley Leonard, then, everybody should walk out of the stadium. I'll turn the TV off.
Well, and hey, Mike, they're monumentally screwed here right now, too. And I guess, if somebody were to ask me, and they did a little bit earlier, what I felt was going to happen coming up in the offseason, I'm not for sure that everybody is going to be erased and wiped out. I'm not sure for that. I thought that there was more of a sure point to make last year, but the fact that you are in such the crossfire right now of, putting together a team that's made for, I think not only if you get rid of, front office and head coach, I mean, don't you have to look at a lot of these veterans? And who knows, maybe these veterans, some of these guys will want to move on their way anyway. But you've got to gut the team, I think, along with the organization and the coaching staff, right? I mean, if you're going to do it, you got to go all the way or you don't go all the way at all. Is that fair to say?
Absolutely. I mean, I was with you back in January, and I was also with this whole regime. Once the decision is made, you got to be all in. You got to go for it. I think the Sauce Gardner trade was a good trade. It'll be proven that you still got a top corner when he gets on the field. And I actually think Ballard has done everything possible to give this team the shot, from where his vantage point was at the season. So I can't fault Ballard for any of this. These guys just you gotta play the hand you dealt. These guys have been around here for years, 8, 7, 8, 10, 5 years. And also what you're talking about with the D line, Kwity Paye and Latu. I mean, these guys in witness protection, like Victor.
Yeah, it was a joke. Yeah, it's an absolute. And see that's the part. That's the part again. That's a reflection of Ballard, the best defensive player in the draft pick with Latu and Kwity Paye, and these guys just simply disappear. I mean, hell, Rick Venturi always references the first wave actions. I mean, there was no wave action yesterday. Zero against a quarterback that's ripe for it. An offensive line that was missing pieces that was ripe for it. And you get absolutely nothing yesterday. I thought that was certainly a lot of a reflection of who these dudes are, and that's unfortunate. It is.
Yep. But like I said, you got to play the hand you dealt. We need a little Gene Kranz out there, when they told them, we're improvising a new mission, and the guy says, the ship wasn't designed. It was designed. He goes, well, unfortunately, we're not going to the moon right now. So I don't care what anything was designed to do. I care what it can do. And I will say that kid, I love this kid, Riley Leonard. I know whatever, but I love him. And I love Ellinger. Steichen, simplify everything, run the ball, and see what happens. That's the only shot that you have. This is what sports is all about. Cinderella stories, and everybody's got to man up. That's my philosophy. The off season will take care of itself. All that stuff. We'll have all off season, just like we said when the trade was made. Worry about the off season when the off season comes.
We got a lot more for you. There's no doubt about that. My brother Mike, I appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, JMV, thank you. Take care.
Mike in Brooklyn right there. Again, much like what I had said when I was shaking my fist back in January of just starting all over again. Much like you can look at that now and go, hey, it's funny, right? Like some of the dumbest things that look dumb at one point in time look good. Remember back when I had said the worst take of all time I ever had was, draft Andrew Luck and keep Peyton Manning and, wait on Manning to close it out and bring. But, I mean, hell, now the way that you look at it, that probably would have been better. It's not so stupid now. It's still pretty stupid, but not as stupid now. But how stupid I looked in September and October regarding my take in January looks one hell of a lot better now. Because you are limited at best at what you're going to be able to do. Like, I get all these people saying, well, you got to blow it up and bring in this quarterback. If you look at the free agent quarterbacks available right now, then have fun with it. You have no first-round selections. You have what has been described as a soft, especially where you could possibly get quarterback draft. What do you think they're going to do? That's why I've suggested when been asked right now that we're probably going to see the same three quarterbacks. Riley Leonard, you got two of them, Riley Leonard and Anthony Richardson, that are still under contract. And I know that he may not want to play here, but I mean, who cares? And then you've got Daniel Jones, who you can get on the incredibly cheap because he's going to have his leg up for a lot of the offseason and the start of the season, if not through most of the season. So where else would you go? And if you bring in a new regime, where would they want to go? What would they want to do? I know that there are very few of these gigs out there, but when you do take a gig, especially if you're a first-timer, you would like to have a decent situation. How decent does this situation look? There is a lot working against, and it's interesting, too, because this comes in a year where finally Chris Ballard goes out and is really proactive about adding to this team, and that is blown up more in his face than being mediocre or less and not being proactive. Incredible. 239-1070 is that number, as I mentioned. We got a lot of you on hold. Stephen Holder's going to join us coming up at the 5 o'clock hour. 5:30 we bail for Colts Roundtable, so understand that. Randall's up next. Hello, Randall. How are you?
How's it going, JMV?
Randall, we're living in a dream. It's weird, right? We're kind of in the crossfire here. You got the bad with the Colts, but if you're an IU fan, you love exactly what's going on around here. So it's the good and the bad.
Yeah.
So we'll take it, I guess. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I got a message for everybody who's a Colts fan, who wants to be a Colts fan, who used to be a Colts fan, and might want to be a Colts fan again. People say this when there's a lot worse situations in life, sports, whatever. Everybody needs to step back, count to 10, relax, and breathe. We, in my opinion, are in a better situation than most, if not all, of the Colts fan nation believe. You got Ellinger, in my opinion, he's on the practice squad. He's much better than that. They didn't really give him much of a chance. Maybe they did. That's why they put him on the practice squad for safekeeping. I say, if there's any of the free agents that are out there, I briefly saw the list yesterday. I would
It's terrible.
call it Garoppolo. I would call Garoppolo up.
You would?
And I would make a statement with Anthony Richardson.
What statement would that make? That you really, really suck? What statement would that make?
No, it don't. It don't at all. It don't at all.
Yeah, they say, yeah, man, this list sucks.
No.
I mean, hey, Randall, man, come on. Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Marcus Mariota, Zach Wilson, Tyrod Taylor, Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Jimmy Garoppolo, Mitchell Trubisky. It's a sucky list. It is.
I'll take the Italian guy if that's the best.
I would rather watch Riley Leonard quarterback than any of those dudes.
I agree, 100%. And I'm going to do a shout out on him. He played for Notre Dame. He was successful there.
Yeah.
He's got a 4-year degree that tells me he's loyal and he's committed. He's a 6th-round pick. Can anybody think of another guy who was somewhere around a 6th-round pick and he turned out to be great? I dare say the
Randall, I would also tell you, I would rather watch you quarterback than those free agent quarterback names I named. So, yeah, and it's not a shot at Riley
55.
Leonard, but I just don't know what options this group sitting here right now will have. So
I think they just need to hang tough, and it's going to be okay. I dare say, I know people ain't going to like this, when Anthony Richardson heals up and he can see straight again, I'd put him out there on the trade table. I'd get rid of him. They can take Ellinger. They can promote him to at least the 3rd quarterback. I would sign Daniel Jones because what we've seen so far largely has been promising. And I think you got to go with that. I don't think you blow up the team for one position. No,
well,
I don't.
And Randall, yeah. Hey, Randall, thank you for the call, too. Part of the equation in this, you get a lot of veteran dudes out there that may not want to hang with this program and wait. I mean, their clock is ticking. I mean, how you tell Jonathan Taylor? How you tell DeForest Buckner? I mean, you got a lot of guys with their clocks ticking right here. I mean, to get something significantly done, you're going to have to do some, like, Signetti-level maneuvering on this. And then you're going to have to hold your breath and hope everything goes okay. And I can't tell you the last time you held your breath and everything went okay without suffocating. Quick break. We'll come back. Twin Peaks. We're on the northeast side. Castleton. My man Paul is here. Twin Peaks. Thank you all for joining us. We'll take a break, come back. I think the Colts update's coming up next. Colts Roundtable, 5:30. Pacers after that. I would love to see you. I'd love to see you grill. More on the greatness of IU right now, which was a spectacular Saturday. Explanation coming up next. 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
Is this or is this not the XFL? Yes, it is. 2, do I or do I not currently have a pulse? Yes, I do. Let's play football.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Oh, Californication, Red Hot Chili Peppers. How about the Rose Bowl appearance for IU, everybody? Are you thrilled about that, Hoosier fans? I was so happy for you. That was enjoyable as hell. And here is the telltale sign of how you know Ohio State fans, and not all of them, but many of them are absolutely nuts and idiots. Not all of them. Not all of them. But here's how you know that there was an impact. Just beyond the loss, there was so much complaining about holding. I got news for you, everybody. Everybody was holding on Saturday night. Everybody. It was like a holding convention. And less than a handful of times it was called. That's the sign of when the coach tells you this is not supposed to be just wordplay or just making something up. When the coach tells you whatever level you played on, whatever you played, to play through it, you got to play through it. Normally that's IU fans crying about holding, or really any fan base playing Ohio State. You know, they're bigger, they're tougher, they're more physical. You can't compete. But, man, Saturday night, IU did something even beyond to where they are that I never thought I would see or be able to talk about. Out-physicaled and out-toughed Ohio State. That is, I think, one of the greatest moments I've seen. Out-physicaled, out-toughed Ohio State in that moment, that environment for a Big Ten title. You know how significant that is? As I mentioned a little bit earlier, it's not like IU and the program. Scott Dolson and Kurt Cignetti just didn't trip into something great here. Oh, well, all of a sudden we kind of fell into greatness. Right? It's not like somebody, well, you're getting this inheritance. I mean, Kurt Cignetti, his inheritance was crap water for decades, for eras. And 2 years has done the absolute unimaginable. But on Saturday night, the thing that stood out to me more was the toughness, the defensive toughness. This wasn't a game where IU maybe had an athlete here or there offensively where you ended up scoring more points for Ohio State. This was a grinder, and especially what IU did defensively in the second half. Incredible stuff. So that's how you know. Ohio State fans whining about, oh, there's a hold, and showing video and pictures of your hold, and then pissed off about Charlie Becker with what he said. I mean, Will Howard was a complete jackass on the sideline last year when Ohio State won, so who cares? And that just goes to show you how soft that many there. That bugs you? Well, look, Charlie Becker provided bulletin board material. Oh, so I'm sorry, you need bulletin board material after you got your ass whipped? After you lost in that championship game, you need bulletin board material now, do you? You're Ohio State. Why do you need bulletin board material? You just roll up with dudes. That's how you know. That is how you know. IU awaits the winner of Oklahoma, Alabama. Oregon, James Madison. I'm all for the David v. Goliath, but come on, man. Texas A&M, Miami, Ole Miss. Shout out to Derek White over there. Hey, who's coaching Ole Miss? Oh, really? Cool. Ole Miss and Tulane. And then obviously the byes would be the 1 seed IU, the 2 seed Ohio State, 3 seed Georgia, 4 seed Texas Tech. 0 way Alabama should be involved, but they are. So that should make Mr. Peanut very happy. 239-1070 is that number. All right, James, I got to get to somebody who's on hold the longest right here. I think you said Brian. Hello, Brian. How are you?
Good, JMV. Very long time, first time. You got a great show always.
Thank you. Brian, thank you very much.
First of all, I want to start out with just shout out to my Hoosiers. It's a beautiful thing. Signetti's Coach of the Decade.
Yeah, you could give him Coach of the Year. It's like you give Tyrese Halliburton like NBA MVP this year. You could give Curt Cignetti like Coach of the Decade. Seriously, I mean, for what he has done, what he's accomplished, it doesn't have to be just for this year or last year. It can be like for a while now.
Anyway, I was at that debacle Colts game yesterday, and there were a lot of Colts fans there that showed up to root on their team.
Yeah, because Jacksonville fans don't care. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. But apparently our defense doesn't care either. They just did not show up for the game yesterday. The most entertaining part of the game was watching our little picker jump around like Speedy Gonzalez on the sideline. So I don't know where we go from here. But anyway, thanks for this.
That's what's hey Brian. That's what's most disappointing to me is because before and certainly after Daniel Jones went down. There was little to no resistance. They got housed. They went down there and got housed, and that's not a part of a curse. That's a part of you getting housed. That's you. That's on you. Their performance. So no excuses to be made. I mean, even after Daniel Jones goes down, I mean, you can excuse the fact that now you have Riley Leonard in there, but I can't excuse the fact that these guys were going in that direction with or without Daniel Jones.
Yeah, I think it was a coaching failure. You're playing for first place in the division. Your team has to be fired up. They just came out flat.
Yeah, and then the fourth down call and the shotgun and listen, Shane Steichen's right there. He's front and center of those that we should be highly critical about right now. Like to me, I'd be more critical. I mean, it's just kind of a lifetime achievement award for Chris Ballard at this point in time, with what he's accomplished or lack thereof. But Shane Steichen is on the list of things you go, okay, what the hell is going on here? Why does this not work? And it starts with the head coach. He's front and center on that.
All right, appreciate the call, JMV.
Brian, you call anytime, man. Thank you very much. Twin Peaks, Northeast Side, Castleton. Big Dave is on line 4. Hello, Big Dave.
Hi, John. How are you? Coach Amiano Coach Amiano and his wife are still alive. Remember, you wanted to know.
What? I'm sorry. One more time.
Remember Mrs. Amiano from Boonville?
Yes, Joe.
They're both alive and well. And I'm going to give you.
So hold on. Make sure I'm right about this. Joe and Barb Amiano, and Joe is the former head coach of football at Boonville, going back a lot of years.
Yes. Yeah, and I'm going to give you a quote from Coach Joe. Who's in charge of the Colts? Who's in charge?
The head coach would be one Shane Steichen.
Are you? No. He's apologized. I don't believe in him. You don't believe in him, and 55 Colts players don't believe in him. Don't give me that.
I can buy that by what we saw yesterday. I can buy that by what a lot of what we saw yesterday.
Nobody believes in Steichen. I mean, who's in charge of IU football?
It'd be Curt Cignetti.
You're damn Scipion. Don't you question it. Now, why can't we have a coach like that? You got to have somebody who can coach. I mean, got to be part psychologist. You look at all the great coaches in the past. They were psychologists as well. Dungy knew how to coach. Belichick. I mean, I can go down. Noel, Shula, they knew how to lead. Steichen is a good assistant coach.
I can buy that. Big Dave, I can absolutely buy that. And here's, I think, the major factor that we have noticed, and this is even long before any injury situation to Daniel Jones. We saw this team, man, when things are easy and there are no bumps in the road, they're all right. Everybody's feeling good, right? So they live on easy street, but when things get tough, man, they fade. And that's what we've seen basically since the Pittsburgh game over a month ago, is that quality or lack thereof of football.
Let's go back to Pittsburgh. What was Daniel Jones's history in football? He gets beat up and he loses control. So you put him back there and let him throw a bunch of passes against Pittsburgh. Ever since then, he's got scared to death because he's gotten beat up and he went back to being a Giant.
Yeah,
and
well,
you have an
he's
MP.
not the same. He wasn't the same dude. I mean, when he got injured, he was compromised, but it looked like that they were trying to run the same stuff and utilize him like he was September Daniel Jones, and he was far from that. So, that's something we had talked about here. It looked a lot different.
Okay. MVP running back, and you pass and you pass and you pass and you pass, and Jones gets hurt. Now, what the hell? Come on. I have an MVP running back who can get 4 yards on his own without an offensive line. Why are we passing?
Well, I don't know if he can, and I don't think they can block. I think a lot of what we had witnessed with this offensive line has been incredibly overrated, Big Dave. I do have to make a run for it. So, hey, shout out to Boonville. And I had no idea that Joe and Barb Amiano were still with us, which is a great thing.
Get him on the show. He'd get you laughing. He's a great man. Get him on your show.
Thank you very much. Big Dave, you call again soon. Thank you very much. Twin Peaks, Northeast Side. Let us take a break with Stephen Holder coming up at the top of the hour. I'm going to sort out a little bit of what was just said right there and also work you guys in coming up on the other side. Matt Surf is going to join us, the former Hoosier linebacker. He is on show. More Hoosier flavor and football coming up later on this week, and a couple of road destination locations for you as well. Quick shout to our friends from Twin Peaks. Always awesome. Shout out to Drew and Taylor and those that are working with us today. Dev's the engineer. James back at the studio. Going to be an interesting dynamic this week. I got one more day inside that building, so I'm going to have a ceremonial flushing of the toilet so I can hear the sad trombones come out tomorrow. Back in studio tomorrow. New digs coming up on Wednesday, and then road shows Thursday and Friday with 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Second to get on the stool because he's under 5 feet tall.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Hey, welcome back. Twin Peaks is our location. I love the fact that you're around for this. Dev's the engineer on site. All right, so Wednesday, check that. I'm sorry. Thursday, the Mousetrap. We're back at the Trap on Keystone. Can't wait to see you there. Larceny Bourbon Locks, Luna Azul Tequila Shots. I've been an absolute disaster here recently. Friday, the Depot. We went back-to-back at the Depot a year ago. Remember, that was our Halloween show at the Depot, and then I think we did a Thursday and a Friday back-to-back at the Depot. The Depot is just an outstanding part of what Greenfield has done with that area there downtown. We'll be at the Depot, Bud Light Blue Friday. That is coming up on Friday. Hey, James, I got an idea. I presented this to Pat and Denny and Terry and Allison on Saturday for the Home and Garden Show on 93 WIBC. I think once we ultimately are going to leave the building, we should have an escalator parade. So we should get our jumper cables out and try to jump the escalator, which has never worked, at least in my, 15 years in that building, and have an escalator parade, like one last time. What do you think?
Oh, I think
like
that's
a parade up and down the escalator.
I think that's a great idea.
You make some floats, something like that?
Oh, yeah.
Can you do that? Yeah, the escalator parade in that building. Hey, Dev, man, could I get that working with jumper cables, the escalator, or is it just done altogether? How about put a hamster on the escalator in our old building there? Put a hamster on the wheel, maybe, something like that? James, you got any gerbils at your house? You got a gerbil or two?
I do not know. I do not have a gerbil that we could use, unfortunately.
Oh, man.
We'll just have to get someone with a hand crank or something on the side. Just get that going
hand
that
crank.
way.
I've got a hand crank. There's no question about that, James. Thank you very much. Good mention. JMV, I think the Colts are better off. They weren't going to make the playoffs anyway. Now they can see what they have in Riley Leonard without anyone losing their job, Matty Matt. You know, normal circumstances, I would tell you that the last thing I want to do is see what they have in Riley Leonard. But I don't know how much of a choice they're going to have. I'm just going to sit here and tell you right now, I think Brett Rippon is going to save the entire season. Even though Brett Rippon hasn't thrown a football since 2023. It's crazy. We are moving up Meridian. I think Meridian and St. Joseph's.
That is correct,
so you can come out there and warm up I want people. This is coming from, who is this coming from? Dana in Brownsburg. Dana, come out and warm up my car like on a Saturday night or something like that. When I come out there, it's going to be really cold. That's the only thing. I'm like really cool. I'm like excited about it, but the parking spot downtown is pretty sweet. I can't lie about that, especially last weekend because parking was FUBAR. Curtis is next at 239-1070. Hello, Curtis. How are you?
I'm doing really great.
Hey, Curtis, if I say I don't hear you unless you knock, what film is that from? Come on, brother. Come on, brother. Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Spicoli's brother, Curtis.
I think the coach
barged in his room when he was having a little weed party. Yeah. Go ahead, Curtis.
If I was the coach for the Indianapolis Colts, I would put Jason Bean as the starter right now.
Would you? How about Riley Leonard? How about get that knee going and Riley Leonard or Brett Rippon? You're not a Brett Rippon or a Riley Leonard fan, Curtis?
Well, I'm a Riley Leonard fan, but I don't think he's ready to be a starting quarterback yet.
No, neither. They don't have anybody right now that is ready, Curtis, and that's what's unfortunate. And Jason Bean is about as ready as me. So, yeah, I don't even know where Jason Bean is, but he's ready. Curtis, I think you and I are probably more ready than a lot of the aforementioned names right there. So, it's unfortunate, buddy. No options.
The problem we can't have is we can't beat the Jags. That's the only problem in the schedule.
Well, yeah, they haven't looked too good since Pittsburgh, Curtis. So maybe it'd be nice if we got a little bit of luck. Seriously, a little bit of luck here to see what could happen. Yeah. So, but
I think
we're not holding our breath, buddy.
Flacco, though.
Yeah, that probably wasn't going to work either. They're just in a really bad spot, Curtis. True story.
Yeah,
really
I guess
bad
we
spot.
Just got played out and get ready for next year. Like I
Probably
always
what's going to
say.
happen.
Yeah,
Curtis, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Curtis did not get my reference of Fast Times, but you remember the scene. Curtis burst into Spicoli's room. Curtis, I don't hear you unless you knock, was a great quote. When Schuler's spreadability, I'll quote, greatness, elite level of snacking. When Schuler's original sharp cheddar, bacon, and cheddar. Jalapeno pepper for all your snacking, whether you're talking about crackers, chips, vegetables. It is Win Schuler's spreadability. It is the spreadability you can find at Gordon's Food Service. Neiman's Harvest Market in Carmel, I saw it right there. They had all of it there for you, too. And any of the fine Meijer locations throughout the state of Indiana, but they don't have one in Bloomington. Meijer, you can find the spreadability of Win Schuler. Stephen Holder on the other side. We are live at Twin Peaks. Castleton on this Monday, 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
with JMV.
Ahoy, Ploy.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
The spreadability of Win Schulers. As you know, if you want elite level snacking, that's where you go. Win Schuler spreadability. Meyer location, state of Indiana, you can find it. Shout out to the Hoosiers, the 1 seed in the college football playoff bracket. Rose Bowl bound. They get the winner of the 8 and 9 game, Oklahoma and Alabama. Notre Dame fans are still upset. IU basketball, very unathletic looking against Louisville on Saturday. Purdue basketball, yeah. Fletcher Lawyer has to show up. Trey Kaufman-Wren has to stop kind of crying about the whole officiating or lack thereof. Learn from it, move forward. And, of course, the Colts yesterday. We talked about IU football being where they are. Incredible stuff. Matt Surface on the show coming up tomorrow, but on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline, live from Twin Peaks and Castleton. And a lot of the negative, unfortunately, which we're accustomed to talking about, with the exception of September and October. Stephen Holder of ESPN on ESPN.com. He joins us right now. Hello, Stephen. How are you?
I'm doing great. Just thinking about the good old days when the Colts were 7-1 or even 8-2, and Jonathan Taylor was setting records on the same grounds as Jesse Owens. The good old days, like a month ago.
You know what's funny about that is you go back to January and you remember this, right? I was shaking my fist saying, get rid of everybody, start new. And then I kind of looked like a horse's ass in September and October because they started out 7-1. And now that's how quickly things could turn. Now that looks like the best option is had they decided on that back in January.
Well, but that's the problem is that all that's happened makes evaluation like almost impossible. That's what's so hard about all this, right? Like, what's the right decision about any of this? You know what I mean? About quarterback, about keeping or firing, about re-signing player X or Z or Y. What is the right answer? I don't know. There's no good answers. There are no good answers because if the number one position is still in question, I'm getting too far down the road here, but we might as well just deal with this, right? If the number one position is still in question, then I almost don't care what the other answers are, right? So I don't know, man. I don't have a lot of good news for you if you're a Colts fan. It's all bad right now. I'm just being honest, man. I'm not an alarmist. I'm usually pretty level-headed, but I don't have anything for you. I really don't.
Well, it's not only bad for the present, but it's bad for the foreseeable future. Riley Leonard, who came in to spell the injured Daniel Jones, who is done for the season, and he's on the inbound for Achilles surgery coming up. But Riley Leonard came in. He's got a knee injury. So is it more likely that he comes back from that this week and plays in Seattle, or Brett Rippon, who hasn't thrown a pass since 2023? Is that who we're going to watch?
God. Look, all I can tell you is that there was no expectation of this coming when Shane Steichen revealed this a little while ago, and I can spin it both ways. I can spin it in terms of, well, maybe he's telling us to get ahead of, to get ahead of the news and lessen the blow, or maybe he's just sort of being transparent and just getting it out there. But I don't know. I don't have anything to base this on. But I have a sneaking suspicion that this is a real thing and that they may have to actually deal with this. And yeah, you just said it. That leaves us with essentially Brett Rippon or whoever else they can find who's laying around with nothing to do on December 8th with 4 weeks left in the NFL season. So, yeah, good luck with that.
For a team that's still in playoff contention, too, which is absolutely – I mean, really only the Colts – could this happen to? Seriously.
I mean, there's a scenario where they could win 2 games and get in. I mean, that's not the most ridiculous prediction in the world, but it starts to sound ridiculous when you talk about the quarterback situation. Like, even if Daniel Jones had played poorly yesterday and they lose the game and then they got four to go, like, you're not in the strong position for winning the division, but you can still get in the playoffs. And in this AFC this year, all I think you got to do is get in and give yourself a chance, right? But it almost doesn't matter now. Remember when the Dolphins made the playoffs a few years ago when I think Tua got hurt, and I can't remember who started at quarterback, but they had like a third string quarterback go start at Buffalo. You recall that, in the snow? And it was as bad as you expected, right? Well, that's kind of where we're at this point, Even if they like stumbled into a win or two, it doesn't matter. It doesn't feel like it matters, at least, So I don't know. It's a harsh thing to say, but this is the reality.
Can I ask you this really quick? And this is ever changing because that's the way things go with the Colts, because they can have the best of circumstances for a moment, but it's going to be followed by the absolute worst of circumstances. But with this in mind, somebody had asked me today, so I said, I'm going to go ahead and answer it. What do you think they're going to do at quarterback? And I said this today, which may change, but I said, I think we're going to be looking at the same, basically three quarterbacks we looked at with Leonard and Richardson and Jones, as a re-signed, very low-dollar value free agent next year. I think that's how that's going to go because they have so little options. You look at free agency options, there are none out there, really. They don't have anything to work with to try to make deals. I don't see another avenue other than that one, even if they do decide to put a stick of dynamite underneath this thing and try to blow a lot of it up.
No, listen, we might as well be honest with people, okay? Or let me rephrase that. People should be honest with themselves. And this is an awful example, but hear me out. Okay. When we were much younger and living a different life, you might have gotten turned down at the bar a few times, and it's getting late. And then, the young lady that maybe you didn't really have that much interest in, she starts to look a little more like a better option, And
are you giving me the coyote ugly analogy right here? Is that what you're saying?
I guess I am.
Arm off? I'm going to gnaw my arm off a little bit later. I got you. Yeah. I think I was like the equivalent of that as a dude, I think. That was me.
So, right, I'm sure you had options. You're a good-looking guy, So, that's kind of where they're at, man. Anthony Richardson is under contract next year, so he has that going for him. That's something. The other guy's not under contract and has a busted Achilles. So, what are you doing with that, right? And so, the timeline there. The most optimistic timeline, and I mean ridiculously optimistic, is that he's like a competent football player. I'm talking about Daniel Jones, a competent football player in terms of his rehab, a few weeks into the season. And by competent, I don't mean a good football player. I mean like he can play football. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's the most optimistic view of this. So you can't hang your hat on that. I don't know. It's bad. I don't know what you do. And even if you clean house, it's easy to say that, right? Okay, well, the next people who get the job, the next crew, good luck to them because they ain't going to have any answers either. So I don't know, man. It's just bad.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you're dealing with what you're dealing with right now. And it is.
Oh, I want to add something real quick.
Go ahead.
I want to add something real quick. And we also none of the moves they did, none of the moves they made paid off. And this is just bad luck to some degree, right? But it doesn't matter why. This is where we are. None of the moves paid off. Daniel Jones, it paid off until he got hurt, right? So that hasn't paid off in the long term. The defensive signings, Charvarius Ward is now in concussion protocol for the third time this season. A guy who a few weeks ago told us he was having second thoughts about playing football after the last concussion. All right?
Yep.
So he now I think is, he's just coming off a $50 million signing. And then you have Sauce Gardner, who has not played hardly at all. I love Sauce Gardner. I think he's a good player. We can talk about the compensation. Certainly that's not paying off right now. But anyway, my point is that has gotten none of the leaps that they have taken or the big swings they have taken have paid dividends. And And that's just a really hard thing to sell when you get to this point. You just don't have anything to show for it. Whether it's the football gods or you're doing, it is what it is. And it's just a really hard thing to swallow.
It is. Here's what else. And Stephen Holder of ESPN, ESPN.com is on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Here's the other thing that's hard for me to swallow is I think with or without the injury yesterday of Daniel Jones, I thought all the way around, especially defensively, there was a lot of a clown show going on out there. And that shouldn't be the way this team, I think, went into that game and played throughout that game. Before or after Daniel Jones went down. I mean, you got to have something better than what we witnessed, I thought, up front, especially with that defense. And the fact that they got no hits, basically no pressure on Trevor Lawrence, with what they have invested, even without DeForest Buckner up front, it's an absolute joke, Stephen.
I can't explain it, but it is what it is. They have not had consistent pressure on the quarterback all year long. And you know what that has led to is one of the more alarming things about this defense is that, I'll pull it up here. Do you know they are 28th in third down stops? 28th. Like that's, when you put defense in a microcosm of the things that matter the most, right? It's pressure on the quarterback and it's getting off on third down. Like though, if you boil it down to like the most basic elements, those are the things that matter. All right. And they haven't done either one very well. 28th in third down stops. And so that's how you end up with Mahomes going on seemingly 10-play drives 4 times in a row in that game a couple weeks ago. CJ Stroud, to some degree, the same. They didn't score a lot of points, either of those two teams, but they certainly had the ball and were able to mount very long drives. They're not getting the turnovers when they need them. All the things that great defenses have to do, it oftentimes is about the timing of those things, right? The numbers look good. They have a lot of sacks. They have a decent amount of pressure if you look at like the numbers, the pure pressures and things like that. But the timeliness of them, completely absent. They haven't gotten them when they needed them, period.
Hey, Stephen, I have to apologize, too. I think we have to bail at 5:16 or so. I know we have Colts Roundtable, bottom of the hour, the Pacers go early. But I have so much more to talk about. It absolutely sucks that we're going to have to go here in a second, but I don't know what I'm going to be able to do about it. It's just it is incredible where this team is right now. Give me a minute and a half of thought. I know this is looking long ahead. Would this be more apt for Carly Ursay-Gordon to dynamite this thing or to move forward with it? Because as you mentioned a little bit earlier, who would want to try to pick up the pieces on this mess?
Right. I do think that you have to consider your options. And I think that's a lot of times this is what happens, especially with coaches. You see what's out there, and I'm pretty sure Jim Irsay did this before. For example, with Sean Payton, we're relatively certain they had some conversations with Sean Payton, the year that they extended Chuck Pagano, for example, which, many years ago. But I'm just giving you an example, right? So Chuck Pagano goes into Black Monday. He doesn't know if he has a job or not. And it's because, they're on the phone with Sean Payton. It turns out Sean was leveraging like he always did, and he got his money from New Orleans, and he told them thanks, but no thanks. So anyway, I bring that up to say you could have a situation like that. This is totally hypothetical, but when you ask me what should she do, I think the answer depends on who and what you can get. And you're going to have to make some promises. If you're talking about going after some big fish, in 2027, you're probably going to have to make some big promises to them, when you can maybe get things back on the right track financially and from a draft pick perspective. So I don't know, man. The alternative is just let them finish it out and then go from there a year from now.
Stephen, thank you very much, man. We always love having you on Monday. We'll get a longer form coming up next Monday. Okay, brother?
All right, you got it. Talk.
Stephen Holder of ESPN. Thank you, Twin Peaks, James, Dev, all our guests. Colts Roundtable's next. The Pacers after that. Back in studio tomorrow at 3. Have a great night.